In this lesson, we're going to continue to discuss styles. If you'd like to follow along, go under the File menu to Open, and in the Sample Files folder, scroll down to 0804, The Power of Nested Styles, and just click Open. What are nested styles? They're one of the most powerful type formatting features you can possibly imagine. It's a way to quickly and consistently add character styles to part or parts of a paragraph style. I have a couple of pre-existing paragraph styles and character styles set up that we could use to nest character styles into paragraph styles. Why don't we go to the paragraph styles panel? And we're going to start with copy with red lead, which has been applied to the text at the top of the page. To better see what's going on, why don't we go to our zoom tool and just click and drag across the width of the margins at the top of the page. To get to the options for this paragraph style, why don't we double click on the listing? And we're going to go down to the drop caps and nested styles section. We're going to start with drop caps. If you click the up arrow next to lines, as soon as you get to 2, you'll have a drop cap that drops 2 lines. I also have control over the number of characters. You can see as I'm clicking up, I'm getting more and more characters dropping. For what we're doing, we're going to leave the characters at 1. And now I'm going to apply a character style to the drop cap by clicking down on the character style pop-up and going to red bold caps. And you can see that now the drop cap is red and bold. Why don't we go back down to 0 for the number of characters and just go back down to none for character style and go to the next section, which is nested styles. I'm going to click new nested style, and we're going to set up a character style that is nested into the beginning of a paragraph. First, we have to tell the style what character style to nest. So I have to click down where it says none, and once again I'm going to choose red bold caps, and nothing happens. A lot of people, when they're first trying to set up nested styles, they find it a little confusing, but once you understand how it works, it's actually pretty easy. Nothing happens because I have to either click in the next field or entirely click off the listing to apply it. And it's doing exactly what it says it's doing in the listing. It's applying red bold caps through one word. And you can see the first word in each one of these paragraphs is now red and bold. But what if I didn't want it to be one word? Maybe I want it to be 2 words. Let me click on the number 1, and you can see it's actually a field. And I can type 2, and nothing happens until I click off of the listing. And now you can see the first 2 words are red and bold. But maybe really what I want is the first sentence in each paragraph. So what I'm going to do is make the number 2 1, because I want it to be one sentence. And where it says words, I'm going to click down on that, and you can see that it's actually a pop-up menu that gives me a lot of choices on where to end this nested character style. The first choice is sentences, but I also have characters, letters, digits, tab characters, forced line breaks. There's a lot of choices here to end this nested style. I'm going to choose sentences, and nothing will happen until I click off of the listing. And now you can see that the first sentence in each paragraph is red and bold and caps. Well, let's see what happened in the rest of them. Oh, what happened in this third paragraph? Well, there's actually only a period at the end of the paragraph. It's one long sentence. Let's see if we could fool the nested style. I'm going to click OK, and I'm going to put a period at the end of the first line to see what happens. It updated automatically because that's now the end of that sentence. I wonder if it also understands that sentences may end in a question mark. And yes, it does. Or how about an exclamation mark? Yep, It understands exclamation marks as well. So that is pretty cool. But I wonder what else I can do with nested styles. Why don't we scroll down the page just a little bit to get to our address listings. And now double click on address listings. Imagine for just a second that we have 1,000 listings with a name, a title, and a place of employment, as well as an address. We want the first line, the name, to be a certain character style. The next two lines we want to be an entirely different character style. And you can see that each one of the lines is formatted with a shift return at the end, or a shift enter, which is a forced line break. I'm going to go down to the drop caps and nested styles section, and I'm going to click on New Nested Style. I'm going to click down on the character styles pop-up and go to Names Bold Caps. And nothing happens until I click off of the listing. Right now it's doing it to one word, exactly like it says it's going to here. Names Bold Caps through one word. But I really wanted the first line through that first forced line break. So let me click on Words and find forced line break. And nothing's going to happen until I click off of the listing. Now, I'm going to add a second nested style that will begin immediately after the first ends. New nested style, and I'm going to choose, how about bold italic? And instead of one forced line break, I'm going to make it the next two forced line breaks. So I'm going to make the 1, 2, then choose forced line break. So what it's doing is bold italic through two forced line breaks. So you can see that's exactly what it's doing. It's following what the listings are telling it to do. A certain nested style will go through one forced line break, and then the next nested style will begin bold italic through two forced line breaks. And then it just goes back to what the initial styling was of that paragraph style. Well, after going through this, there's usually a question, which is, what if I don't want my first nested style to begin at the beginning of the paragraph? Is there a way around that? Absolutely. What I'm going to do is click New Nested Style, and I'm going to leave it as none through one, how about forced line break? Right now, it seems to be doing nothing, but let me click on that listing, and you can see that now there's an up arrow. That's going to move the listing up. And if I click it again, it's going to move it up again. So you can see that now the names don't have any character style applied to it because it says none through one forced line break. And then immediately after that, it's applying names bold caps. And for the two forced line breaks after that, it's applying bold italic. So you can really have total control of where your character styles are nested within a paragraph style. Once you set up a few nested styles, you're going to find that it becomes a lot easier. We're going to continue discussing nested styles in upcoming lessons.